Rich here had picked up a couple of properties, made like 100 or so on the first one, about 100.5 on the second one, and then damn near 800,000 on the third one, correct?
Yeah.
His income from what was his part-time side hustle, if you want to call it that, now exceeds or matches his full-time income.
It's the best thing I ever did.
Hey, Tom here, Flip Anything USA. Today I've got Rich Ferradino.
Started July of last year.
Wow, July of last year. So what a difference a year makes. Rich here had picked up a couple of properties. He rolled that into a purchase of two properties that totaled $2.3 million, right?
Yeah.
$2.3 million, and so now he's got $10,000 a month coming in. One of the nice things is I've got a new real estate immersion set up because I can bring people into my world and show them how I've really built a big real estate empire. And now, actually, Rich has actually witnessed it firsthand. I just gave Rich a tour. He's come up here visit me, and what did you think?
I think it was a great tour. Really saw a wide variety of the assets you own, from the houses that you're flipping, the warehouses that you are getting cash flow from that have really great tenants, and also the shopping center that you showed me. So we spent about 3 hours on the road just checking out the properties, and a lot of the time was just looking at the different details and the different, like how you're working on this house or how you were able to upgrade the performance of these different assets that you're on. I really liked it.
A lot of people have preconceived notions how to make money on different things. They think, oh, I just want to buy duplexes or I want to buy triplexes. And Rich, he knows firsthand from number one being in the mentorship, which, by the way, you got a book, Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate. That's where you started, right? You got the book first.
I think the audio book, and then I actually bought the book.
And that led you to get into the mentorship?
Yeah.
Yeah, so really, this is where you start. I teach everything. I thought it'd be nice to talk about some of the things that Rich witnessed. You kind of got a full taste of everything, right?
Yeah, and it was one thing I really liked about your assets. They're all pretty close by, like you were saying, in your barbell, and I thought that was something I learned being here is just we saw like probably a dozen properties in the short amount of time that we were together, so it was nice to see a lot. I felt like I was like one of those double-decker tours on in Hollywood. It's just, oh yeah, this one, and oh yeah, this one, and that one, and I own this one over here, and these 5 over there. So definitely get to show your experience that you've created.
Yeah, it's kind of neat because there's usually a story with every one of them. Some stories are a little bigger and more crazier than others, but you got a taste of making money on land. I didn't even take you to my apartments. I didn't take you to the apartment buildings. I didn't take you out to the 50 acres where there's 180 homes sitting on that now. But what he did get a taste of is he got a taste of some large pieces of raw land, some small properties that were profited on, if you want to play the land game. Houses, I showed him more than a dozen houses. He got to meet some of my crew that were in the midst of doing the final touches, the punch list as I call it, before these go on the MLS next week. Industrial buildings.
Yeah, and that's what I was partial to as well. I wanted to see your industrial buildings and your shopping centers because that's where I'm trying to grow I already have a couple under my wings already, but seeing how you've been taking care of your stuff and seeing where I can go in the future is what I really wanted to see, so I was able to do that.
At this point in the video, I want to ask you to hit that subscribe button. You may never see my video again. Hit that subscribe button, give the content a chance, find out how I've made my fortune and how possibly you can make one for yourself and your family. You'll be very, very glad you did, I promise you. So hit that subscribe button. What did you think about like the salon, beauty school?
Oh, that was that the last one we went to?
Yeah, the two-story.
I mean, that was an incredible property. Just looking at the inside.
Wasn't that beautiful?
It was amazing property.
Yeah.
I could definitely see it. It looks like that's like a very high-end clientele type of service.
A lot of pretty girls running around. It's a beautiful property. And you know what's really great about having you here, Rich, is that it's proof of concept, right? When I first started mentoring, I didn't know for sure how well people would take to it and learn it. I've been a one-man show for 40 years and have done really, really well. Not just Rich, but other people have made now millions of dollars in the mentorship, even if some made less than that, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. But that was the first proof of concept that it can be taught. Great, because he's advanced already so quickly. Kind of want to gravitate to bigger, less troublesome assets, and that usually falls into industrial and commercial. And he's already got both. He's got a beautiful little strip center, and he's got a great industrial building that he just closed on just a couple weeks ago. So he's already got his foot in the door in that. It's just so fantastic because in just a relatively short time, I mean, you probably damn near match your job income now.
Yeah,
already.
I could pretty much quit at any time if I wanted to, but
His income from what was his part-time side hustle, if you want to call it that, now exceeds or matches his full-time income. So he's actually in a position right now he could walk away, but he doesn't have to. But it's working 24/7. He could get fired. That thing just keeps going. There's no reason even for him to quit his job at this point, but it's become an option, right?
yeah. And then the depreciation, I'm able to take off $80,000 a year of the income, just write it off on depreciation. So that's also great. And the principal pay down, so I'm saving thousands of dollars a month now, also just on not having to pay taxes, and then also buying down the note.
Not only does he have a considerable amount of cash coming in that is at his disposal to spend, but there's a serious amount of cash also that is paying down the principals on the loans of the two properties. And I'm so happy for you. Because, it's like I say, it's kind of neat. I get to watch guys like Rich, and I got several now. They're kind of like reliving my footsteps,
Yeah.
But I'm shortcutting them there, which is cool.
It's a really big chunk going towards the principal. So
Right, but see, that's also a testimony. So listen, one of the reasons you can really know you've got a good deal is when you've got a 20-year amortization on a property and it still pencils in cash flows and puts money in your pocket every month. That is a testimony to doing the right things that are in this book. It's you get those fundamentals down. I mean, really, that's one of the things I tell people is a test. If you're going to go finance say 75 or 80% of your property, and you do it on a 10-year AM or a 20-year AM, and it still pays for everything, and even puts some cash in your pocket, I mean, you've done it right. It's like a savings account. It's a great example.
that's why a lot of people don't teach you is like, oh yeah, the bank's going to allow you to do all these improvements and stuff.
What would you tell somebody that wants to get in the course?
I would say I definitely recommend it, especially starting with the book just to get the foundation, and but you'll really get a leg up. One of the things that Tom really does give you is his contact number. So being able to reach Tom, being able to reach out to Tom when you're in a crunch is very vital. I ran into that on on the warehouse that I bought. I was running into an issue where there was an environmental study, and I was kind of freaking out about it because the bank was not going to want to do the deal because if it didn't pass the phase 1 inspection, they weren't going to do it. So I was able to have Tom on my side to help me walk off the ledge, I guess.
Yeah, and it's a huge thing because I've been in his shoes and I've been terrified before, and I didn't have anybody to go to. I had to figure it out the hard way.
Yeah, and it's nice to talk about it in the mentorship too, because then you get other people that are in the class that had that experience, or it's good to get other people in the mentorship's thoughts and ideas on it as well. So it's good, just to nice have a good team on your side going.
Yeah, we're growing quite a brain trust in the mentorship itself. We've got people all over the country, all over the states, and in other countries now. People bring stuff to the table that's maybe even a little bit unique in their neighborhood, and maybe it's something that's going to trend. Other people in it can go, hey, you know what? I have that same opportunity in my area.
So I think in your book you mentioned a piece of land, and that's why I bought that piece of land. And maybe you talked about it in the mentorship, but you're talking about how I had the city sewer and the city water, and it was a corner. I was like, this property is just like that one, so that's why I pulled the trigger on it.
And that's awesome, and boy, did it pay off.
Yeah,
it really
was a
paid
great
off.
deal.
Yeah, and he was, and so Eric in the class, same thing. He's got a property he thinks he's going to make, $600,000-800,000 on, and he did something I've never even done. He actually got a property 100% financed, 0 down, 0 interest. So every payment he made went toward the principal, day one. Wow. Look, I hadn't heard the exact quote, but I tell people all the time, I invest like Warren Buffett. You're up to bat. You might have 6,000 pitches before you take a swing, because you're not going to swing at anything unless it's in that home run zone. Rich knows as well as anybody. I always say there's no bad properties. There's just bad deals. And you could have a property that looks pretty rough for whatever reason, and it could still fall into that wonderful asset because of what you paid for it, which makes it wonderful is you can resell it for more. So I showed him also a property I bought for $240,000, sold for $1.7 million. So that $1.5 million, I mean, there's a lot of properties I didn't show you, damn it.
I mean, we saw a ton, so I was happy.
Yeah, I could have showed him another one that I'm not far away. Actually, I didn't even own it. I went to buy it, and I couldn't buy it because it failed the environmental inspection. So I ended up making a deal to lease it for 7 years, but I leased it for like 10%, I think, roughly, of what it would rent
I think
for.
just also going and looking at your properties, especially like the warehouses, I was like, wow, how'd you get a good deal on this? Because I'm like, this is a beautiful property. How did you even get to like, I'd buy this in a heartbeat. So that helped me open my eyes. I'm like, just because it looks pretty doesn't mean you're going to have to pay retail prices. You just got to find the right deal.
Right. Well, he saw a property that just had a new paint job. It actually looked pretty rough originally. But this is a story that's repeating. Success. I got men 30 to 60 years old now that have made over $1 million. It's just a wonderful legacy that I want to leave, is helping guys like Rich, and I know he'll continue to do the same. Yeah, and it's really cool. One of the things he got was I took him over to one of my billiards store with a great location. You got to see how the interaction was with the tenants.
Yeah, everyone knew your name. They were asking you recommendations and questions for their other customers that they had, so it was very positive.
But it's all
engagement.
friendly, yeah, right? It's friend. Tenants become your friends. But thanks for
Thank you.
sharing.
Yeah, it was nice seeing you.
It's very cool. Thanks, Rich. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. It really is a fantastic way to make a lot of money, and it's something that is a skill that can be learned fairly quickly, and you can be pretty damn young, as you can see by Rich, and do very well. If you're interested in this, go to flipanythingusa.com, fill out the mentorship survey, or just write me, Tom, at flipanythingusa. Get in the free webinar. There's links below to that. I hope to see you in my inbox. See you.